When U.S. Federal Reserve officials start their annual mountain retreat this week, they'll be virtually sitting in Jackson Hole, the country's wealthiest county. And the main thing on the agenda, economic inequality. So what does this all mean for the world's largest economy? Joining us now is Bloomberg senior real estate editor, Cecile Dora. Cecile, thank you so much for being here. So let's start here. A new study from the Economic Innovation Group found that the gap between U.S. counties with the lowest and highest asset income per capita rose sixfold between 1990 and 2019. Walk us through exactly what that means and what it means for the state of the economy and the recovery that we're in right now.
Right. So what this means essentially is that there is a sheer concentration of assets in small pockets of the country, while the rest of the country essentially doesn't own that many assets. And that creates an economy where a few counties or pockets are really pulling away from the rest. It's pretty dramatic rise over the past 4 decades. And I should say that the analysis stopped at 2019, which was the latest data available. So there is a good chance that in 2020 and 2021, the gap has further widened because this peculiar pandemic crisis we've been going through has been a time of boom for stocks and real estate assets.
Talk a little bit about that concentration of assets that you're mentioning. I mean, how is it determined and sort of what does it encompass for people who are unfamiliar with this?
It's really interests, stocks or dividends, and rents, so people who own real estate. It's excluding income from wages, and it's really focusing on the types of assets that people can build a foundation for long-term wealth and prosperity and even over generation. This is also the kind of wealth you can fall back on if you lose your job. That makes it really interesting to look at this narrow window into wealth creation and showing that a large swath of the country have not access to that.
Are there specific geographic trends that we're seeing depending on where in the country that we're speaking about, where we're seeing sort of this asset concentration happen, or is it really based on a city by city basis?
The pockets are what you would expect. Centers of finance, think Manhattan, or tech, think, on the West Coast, San Francisco, but also mining and some oil counties where, it's oil and gas dividends. Those are the pockets where you see sheer gaps, even between, say, Manhattan and Queens or the Bronx. You could have a very rich county inside an otherwise asset poor state.
Definitely really important information. Cecile Dora, Bloomberg senior editor of Real Economy. Thank you so much for joining us and speaking about that. Hey, thanks for watching Bloomberg Quicktake Now. Subscribe to our channel to see the biggest stories the moment they happen from around the world. And tune in to our 24/7 live stream for global news coverage, documentaries, interviews, deep dives, and shows on the stories that you care most about.